now rocking with the bad boys of the Dynasty. I'm your host, Nasty New, and I have Terradome with me today on Move the Sticks, the 365 Grind. What's going on, Terradome?
Man, 18, man, that's what's going on. A lot of new things to talk about, man. Let's just get right into it.
Our first segment, Dynasty News. So I guess we'll go ahead and start on the point systems. So go ahead and speak on it a little bit.
Man, the point system. I think that this is a good thing to put in play, because for a lot of guys, that as far as they felt some type of way about, guys feel like they had to step up and donate money to the league or whatever. And, that's them guys' issues. I don't have an issue with it at all, because I know that I'm part of something good and I enjoy being here, and I know that the things that we're doing here cost money, But the point system. There's no more guys sticking just straight to your stick skills and thinking that your gameplay is going to get you the team that you want come Madden 19. This point system is put into place, I think, for the guys that's doing the extra work. We don't want y'all to feel like that work that y'all putting in pretty much is not going unrecognized, So the point system, pretty much, guys is doing the behind the scene work as far as shows, as far as donations, as far as any type of extra work around the Dynasty. That will pretty much, give you a little extra boost on where you might land at to pick your team come Madden 19 draft cycle. And I think the guys that that have been slacking on that, or the guys that that have been on the defenses about it, that's gonna wake them up, man, and just have them look and notice, like, well, dang, I could be either picking that number 9, or if I did a little extra work in the Dynasty, that could actually probably move me up 2 or 3 slots, and I could pick at 7, because we know a lot of guys didn't get the team. Some guys didn't get the team that they wanted this year. I know you wanted the Falcons, but you still making noise with the Minnesota Vikings. So, but pretty much, I think that this is gonna wake a lot of guys up, and I think it's a good system moving forward.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good system put in place, man, because hopefully it'll motivate some guys to step up that haven't stepped up yet. And then if you choose not to, hey, you'll live with the consequences that come along without stepping up. It just got to a point where I think the commissioner, he got tired of begging, he got tired of pleading and all the other stuff, and it becoming, a lot put added stress on him, because you would have some guys working hard and then other guys not working, but the guys that are working hard are starting to resent the dudes that aren't working. And then, let's say you have a guy that's never doing anything and he happens to draft pretty high up in high stakes. It's not
exactly
fair. So some way it had to get balanced out. And the way I think the commissioner is looking at it at this point is, if you never do a thing in the Dynasty throughout this entire cycle, you may not draft within the top 15 on the current point system that he's looking at putting in, which I think, makes things a lot more fair towards the guys that are actually putting in the time. I'll speak on I'll speak on a personal note, man. I was up to 3 o'clock in the morning on Saturday putting together the Dynasty Primetime show. It took me forever to put that show together. So if somebody, a user in the league, puts in that type of time, shouldn't they be rewarded? I think so.
Yeah. One thing I like to look at as far as when it comes to that is our live draft that we did for the Madden 18 team selection. It was a lot of work being done behind the scenes that some of the users didn't even probably recognize. Like, we had having some guys on standby as far as doing the end call draft. We had guys DMing, responsible for the DM picks. We had Farquaad, we had Expert, we had Andre, we had SJ. Like, we had a lot of guys working behind the scenes to make that beautiful draft that we had, where we made a lot of noise in the CFM and the Madden league. We made a lot of noise with that, but it took a lot of guys to come together to do that. And with this point system, we just want, it's bad to say that we had to put a point system in play to make some guys step up, but like you just said, man, for guys to be putting in that much work, man, it got to be something in play where they being rewarded,
Very true. So I guess we'll move on, man, to the next topic. We're talking about graphics, man, and the progression of the Dynasty from the summer of 2016 up until the start of the Madden 18 cycle, man. What are your thoughts so far?
Hands down fire, man. Like, if you could just see how the graphic just evolved from this show moved the sticks, from last year walked the line. Like, it's just crazy, man. Like, and big ups to the commish, because he's always working and always looking to improve. Shout out to the media team, guys always coming up with fresh ideas. But these graphics, man, is flat out fire, man. And for guys, this is another thing, like, for guys just to feel like they can just stand by on the sideline and just watch, things evolve. It's just like, come on, man. Like, some of these shows, when you be watching them, it's just like, damn, like, this shit looks really good. Like, it looks like I'm actually watching, a real show. If the atmosphere of the show feels good. Farquaad and Expert with Total Access, Andre, Matty Ice, and shout out to KP that hopping on, prime time. These shows is really interesting, man, and the graphics just bring everything together. So for guys, just look what you're being a part of, man. Like, it's beautiful, man. Like, we stepping up and we going up another level every year, man. Every year we love going up. Like, if you go back and check out Madden 16, what we was working with, and now, we'll blow your head off with it, man. It's just crazy.
Yeah, man. I always go back and I look at the old shows when we first started off, man. The sound quality was horrible. The visuals were horrible, because it was a learning curve, man, as far as like the media team and the production. Like, we didn't know anything, so it was like a learning process to get to where we are now. And I appreciate all the people that work within the league and behind the scenes to help us get to where we are. There's a lot of other stuff that's coming that has not been dropped yet. We got the Gridiron, the rookie pre-draft show coming. That's gonna be fire, man, with some fire graphics. If you've been on Twitter, you already seen the rookie draft cards out there on Twitter already. Like I said, be ready for the visual side of it to come when that show drops. You go look at the franchise. If you go back and look at the old franchise shows compared to where we started and where we ended up, and there's some more stuff that's been added to the franchise to make that show even more entertaining. So the graphics in the Dynasty, man, we're going to continue to push the envelope to keep pushing the league forward, man. And I'm excited to see exactly where we go throughout the Madden 18 cycle. All right, so, man, I guess we'll move on to our next Dynasty news, and we like to call this the man on the ledge. Now, every cycle we take bets behind the scenes as to who will be the first user to quit because the game is either too hard or does not fit what they like to do. Now, big money right now is on the guy MCV. So that's safe. That's the safe money right now. Putting that money on him. So if you had to bet right now, who would you bet on, Pterodon?
I'm going to say MCV. And the reason why I'm saying MCV is because Madden 17, he came in, he took over a horrible coach team. Everybody, we already know once we seen Indianapolis coach on our schedule, that was a W. I mean, nothing as far as with the user, but that team was just flat out horrible. He was in the chat. Yeah, man, once I get a team come Madden 18, that's good. I'm going to make some noise. So now we sitting here in Madden 18. He has one of the most explosive offense besides the Falcons in Madden 18 with Antonio Brown, Martavis Bryant, Le'Veon Bell. Even though Big Ben is old, Big Ben still is a top 10 quarterback. And he's flat out struggling. I don't know whether it's the Madden 18 jitters. I don't know what it is, but this guy, man, I think that forget over, he's gonna jump through 3 flips and just flat out leave, because I don't think he can hang in there, man. I think the pressure is getting to him. I think that this Madden is going to bust a lot of people's pipes, man, because of them not being able to adjust or just get things going. But I don't see how we can't get it going. You got Antonio Brown. You could throw him on any route and he could tear up any cornerback. I don't care who the cornerback is. You got Martavis Bryant. I believe he's like, what, 6'6", 93 speed? Like Le'Veon Bell, one of the top 2 running backs in the league. How can't you get that offense going? And that's the team that I wanted. But I think he's going to go.
Yeah, that's why I'm putting my money on MCV right now, man. Just because, I read his messages and I can't hear his voice, but I kind of hear that, he's kind of, taking one step closer to that ledge, man, every day or after every week to jump off, man, and be like, hey, I can't do it anymore, I'm out. And then we're gonna miss him, man. He's been a great addition to the league, man. Very entertaining.
Yeah, because like I said, man, like my first pick when I was actually thinking about it was going to be expert, but I think that expert is going to learn how to adjust, because the Houston Texans is not a bad team. He's a top 10 dynasty user, so I think he's going to adjust. But I think MCV, like that pressure of him stating that comment, last Madden cycle, yeah, I'm gonna get a good team, I'm gonna make some noise. It's gonna come back to bite him. But I hope he hang in there. But that's my pick. If I had to pick somebody that's going to jump over that edge.
Yeah, so we're taking bets, man. So if you got somebody you think will be the first one to jump off the ledge, go ahead and send them those bets into Tone, and he'll put you down, man. I know because during the Madden 17 cycle, we all took a bet that it would be the Ravens user, and lo and behold, he was the first user to jump off the ledge. He got the brakes beat off him by that boy Good, and he just couldn't take it anymore. He walked out. He hit me up in the DM and said, "Yeah, I'm out, man. This man's not for me." He has not been heard from or seen since then. So,
it's crazy.
This mad stuff will stress you out. But let's go ahead and move on, man, to our next topic, man, and in discussion, man. It's just Madden 18, man. So, what are your thoughts on the game so far?
Madden 18. Is the game perfect? No. I mean, I believe I'm one of those guys out there that feel as though that I paid $80 for a game that, pretty much is Madden 17, but they just reprinted Brady on the cover and on the disc. But after the patch released, I think that they leaned more towards it being more like real life. And when I say real life, I mean you have to learn how to adjust. You got some guys, me myself, comes out and want to throw the ball at least probably 20 times a game. And out of those 20 attempts, you might throw 4 interceptions. Now, after that 4th interception, in real life, they're going to either do one or two things. Pull the quarterback or switch the game plan over to the run game. With this patch being released, I think that, there's still something they got to fix. But the main thing is users have to learn how to adjust in this game. And I think that is the reason why some guys are struggling. They're not learning how to adjust. If you come out and throw the ball, I repeat, throw the ball 30 times in the game, and you throw 8 interceptions, by that 4th interception, you should be switching up your game plan to either 1, short passing game, 2, run the rock more. But guys can't do that. So the game, to me, after this patch released, that I think that they fixed a couple things, and I'm starting to learn how to like it as I'm starting to play it more and more, and it's actually evolving my game skills, because I hate running the ball, but in this man I have to learn how to run the rock. But I'm still gonna come out and still try to throw it down your throat, but it's not that bad now that the patch released.
Yeah, man, I'll be honest, man, I'm loving this game, man, because I know in Madden 17 we labeled that the year we played chess, but it didn't turn out that way because it was still a lot of arcade stuff going on in that game. Madden 18 for me is the true year of the chess player, because you're having to make adjustments based on the user that you're playing. You just can't have one playing style. You just can't be like, oh, I'm just going to pass the ball all the time. You have to adjust to every user because every user is different. And I like that. You're having to think. Like, after my game in the previous week against the Bears, I went back and I watched the film. And I threw, I believe, like 4 interceptions. But the reason I threw those 4 interceptions is because I did not go through my progressions. I had on both of those on all of those plays that I threw interceptions, I had wide receivers wide open. But because I focused on one wide receiver and I forced it, I threw an interception. So now I have to force myself to go into practice mode and to go through my progressions. I at least have to get to the 3rd receiver, or at that point it's time to take off. Now I will say that we are having issues with the lag, which is causing me not to be able to run the ball anymore like I did in week 1. Because when I try to go cut up the field with Cooks, that lag and that delay is having me to still run into the defender even though I'm trying to cut, which is kind of pissing me off. But hopefully they'll get that fixed. But outside of that, man, I'm loving it, man. I have no issues with the DBs jumping routes because you shouldn't be forcing the ball. If you're forcing the ball, it's going to get intercepted. You better be balanced. You better run the ball to set up that play action so you can go down the field deep. Now, anybody watched football on Sunday yesterday, you see in the NFL, most plays are played within a 10 to 15 yard radius. Nobody's throwing the ball goddamn 25 or 30 yards down the field that much during a game. So right now we're playing true simulation football, and I love it. So,
yep.
But yeah, you got any closing thoughts on that, man? Before we move on,
man, it's gonna be just to speak on it. You know, it's probably gonna be more than just one user dropping out, man. Because I don't think just watching a lot of guys streams, man. I don't think a lot of guys are gonna learn how to adjust. I mean, it's gonna be crazy, but you know, the Dynasty surprises me every year, so I want, I'm just looking forward to see who's gonna come out on top.
Yeah, like I say, man, I'm excited to see what goes on in this cycle, man. I hope that everybody that starts off with us at 18 finishes and heads into 19 with us. But it's all about, man, you gotta think now, man. You know, you're going into a draft. We got a draft coming up in maybe about 3 or 4 weeks. Do I go out and get that wide receiver? Or do I go get that fat boy that I need on the offensive line because either I can't run or my offensive line is not blocking? You know, this is stuff that you have to think about now. Everybody wants that big Julio Jones, that big wide receiver. There's a lot of them that I've seen in this coming up draft. But where do you place your value? That's when GM skills start to come in, and then the cream of the top, the crop will rise to the top. And the guys that are still out here trying to ride around in these goddamn Ferraris and Bentleys and shit, instead of, building those trenches up, they gonna fall to the wayside. And I look forward to that shit, man. I'll be honest with you. But I guess we'll go ahead and move on, man, to our next segment. And this is the player spotlight segment. And these players were selected by Terradome, man. And first up, you got that boy out of DC, man, the Redskins, man, Samaje Perine. He's been tearing up the league, man. HB 30 has come back into Madden 18 and is still running that rock. So what are your thoughts here, man?
My thoughts on this, flat out, I know a couple users probably think that, it should have been somebody else, but I'm going to give you the reason why I picked this running back. Okay, when you play against HB Speed 30, you already know what he's doing. He's either going to run up the middle, he's going to run to the left or the right. That's one-dimensional, simple defensive game plan. Now, I'm not saying that he can't pass the rock, because he can do that. But going in, when you're playing against the Washington Redskins, you already know he's been stating it throughout our whole offseason coming into Madden 18 that he's going to run the rock. And nobody yet has slowed this guy down. He's a rookie running back, over 700 yards rushing already, and we're only in week 4. So that right there just blew me off. Like, this guy has to be on the offensive player spotlight. You got King Vitamin doing his thing out there with Fournette, but King Vitamin also likes to pass the ball also. But man, it's just crazy just to see the things that he's doing with this running back, man. For him to be sitting there, he stated it, now he's doing it, and nobody's yet and figure out how to stop this dude. It's just crazy, man. And for it to be a rookie too, I'm looking to see if he's gonna break the rushing record. Like, I don't know if he transferred Big Buck over and put him in this guy's uniform or something, but it's just crazy, man. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, man. I only had one game circled on my calendar this season. That was week 13 against the Falcons for personal reasons. But HB 30 got himself circled on that calendar, man, because, started running his mouth, man, telling me how he's going to run over me. I can't stop him, all this other stuff. So the Vikings defense will be ready week 10 to shut down Perine in that Redskins offense. Trust me, because that running shit, we don't play that in Minnesota. So I hope he's listening, and I hope you're ready. I hope you're ready when the Minnesota Vikings come to town, baby, because we're ready. All right, so I guess we'll move on to the next person, the next player that you picked on this list. And it happens to be Everson Griffin from the Minnesota Vikings. So what were your thoughts on him, man, as to why you selected him?
Alright, my thoughts on him. Alright, now, like I said, some users probably don't agree with this pick also, because, you know, you got some cornerbacks out there, some safeties that had 10 interceptions and going. But the reason why I picked this guy is because it's one simple thing. Getting after the quarterback is hard in this man. Like, it's crazy. Like, some of the things they allow the offensive linemen to do is just, like, you got offensive linemen just coming off the line, pancaking linebackers, everybody. But for this guy to be sitting here, man, pretty much just destroying the offensive line is just ridiculous. Like, you know, because to me personally, it takes a little bit more than just you sitting there, dropping back, getting INT. Like, this guy had 7.5 sacks, you know, 19 tackles. Like, he's playing flat out, and it's only week 5. 7.5 sacks is only week 5. I'm also interested to see if this guy can break the sack record. Like, you know, it's not just about me personally. It's just not about, you know, interceptions, fumbles. It's you going against adversity, and this guy had to be the defensive player spotlight because the offensive line is his adversity, and he's destroying it. You know, he's just flat out destroying it.
Yeah, man, he's been balling out for me, man, and you know, I appreciate everything he brings to the table, man, because as we move further and further into the season, I think QBs are starting to hold on to the ball less and less. So I believe his numbers will come to be more in line with maybe the real NFL. But we'll see. But right now, man, he's giving me pressure. He's coming off that edge. He's not allowing that run to get around the corner. He's putting pressure up the middle, outside. You know, he's doing everything for me. So I can't be mad at him, man, for making this list. Trust me. But I guess we'll go ahead and we'll move on to probably our most anticipated segment. And we have the what the fuck moments so far of the Dynasty Madden 18 cycle. So first up, man, what's the first one on your list?
The first one on the list, man, has to be the goddamn cornerback, man, wide receivers not reacting to the goddamn ball. Now, where do I start with this shit? Alright, man, you got wide receivers that are running the post route. Quarterbacks are putting the ball right on the goddamn, buzzer, like it's right there. And you got wide receivers that's just not even reacting, and cornerback safeties is just coming up, and the ball is right there. EA, I understand I wanted to tighten some things up, but this is something right here that is just rubbing me wrong, and you guys need to get on this because it is going to keep having users complain, and complain. I don't know if y'all guys is working on it, but I pray that next patch y'all release will have my wide receiver not just running past the ball, not just looking at the ball, but reacting to the ball. And with that being said, Dion, you just go ahead and get on the button.
What the fuck?
To the next what the fuck moment on your list. What do you have here?
Alright, I got 2 users. Okay? I got T-Pain and I got King Flair. Now, with this being said, T-Pain drafted the Indianapolis Colts. Now the Colts, besides those speed wide receivers and Andrew Luck, flat out looked like garbage on paper. And this is the team that I'm pretty sure that, besides the Jets, that Ness had to get, didn't want. You know, he came in, I'm pretty sure everybody thought it was going to be a bottom feeder team. Pretty much was going to be sweet. Now you have King Flair with the New York Giants on the other side of the ball. They had flat out every weapon that you can imagine on defense and offense. Now the reason why I mentioned these 2 users is because you got the Colts sitting at, I believe they're 3-0 or 3-1. You have King Flair sitting at 0-4. This right here is just mind-boggling to me. You have a user that has a stack team and a user that has a garbage team. What the fuck is going on out there in New York? And what is Indianapolis doing that is getting them W's? So with that being said, D, you can just get them both the button also.
What the fuck?
Alright, so I guess we'll move to the final topic on the what the fuck moments of the Madden 18 cycle. So what do you got here?
Here. We got the motherfucking rush defense. Rush defense. Now, with this being said, this right here just blew my, like, this right here just made me have to just, like, I called D, I said, listen, man, we got to do this on the second one. We got to put this on there because this right here is just ridiculous. We have a user. It's week 5. We have a user sitting at a total of 980 rushing yards. 980 rushing yards in this goddamn week 5. How is this even possible? I don't know if he's playing against a high school defensive line. I don't know what's going on, but whoever has King Vitamin and the Jacksonville Jaguars on their goddamn schedule, please, I repeat, please stop the run because this is ridiculous, man. It's just ridiculous. With that being said, D, please, I don't know if you're going to break the button, but smash the button on. We need to tighten up on the run defense. With that being said, you can get him the button, man.
What the fuck?
All right. So I guess we'll go ahead and move on to our final segment, man, where we take a look at the NFC playoff picture. And future shows, man, we'll be looking at the playoff picture for both the NFC and the AFC. But just for this week, we're gonna look at the NFC playoff picture, man. So just looking at this, man, as through 5 weeks of the schedule, what are your thoughts so far, man, on how things are shaking out? I know it's still early, but this could be a good indicator of how we move forward, man. So what are your thoughts?
My thoughts on this is the NFC came in, and I knew it was going to be exactly what we're seeing right now. Tight. You know, it's tight. If you win the NFC, you pretty much want to win every game possible. Because if you're sitting at, besides, let me see if I could pick out a division. Yeah, San Francisco. Okay. If you could pretty much basically, like 8-8, not going to cut it. You at least going to have to win over, in my personal opinion, you're going to have to at least win over 10 games to get into the playoffs. And that's including a wild card spot. You know, you got Farquhar with the Falcons. You got Hot Tub with the Cowboys. You have Nuke with the Vikings. You know, you got the big homie that's making noise with the Seahawks. You got HB Speed 30 over there with the Redskins. The 49ers, look, they're even making noise, you know. And then you have also good users that's sitting outside. You got KP and the Eagles. They're not even in the hunt, but we all know that, you know, they can make some noise. We have what's that, Matty Ice in the hunt also, or myself also. So coming in, you know, that I already knew this was going to be tight. Now, pressure will pressure bust pipes. Farquhar and the Falcons. To me, that is the most pressured team. The high expectation is through the roof with those guys. So right now, looking at it personally, he's actually putting all that to the side. And I guess he's using that for motivation because them dudes are, I mean, flat out tearing everything up. You know, I'm looking forward to our matchup. But like I said, man, the NFC is going to be tight. Like, that's not taking nothing away from the AFC. But to me personally, the NFC, man, is just stacked. And it's going to be a dogfight every year with everybody.
Yeah, man, I'm just looking at the NFC, man, as a whole. I don't see a weak division. So, like you said, man, there's not going to be any 8-8 teams making it to the playoffs, man. And so every game is going to count, man. I know just me being in the NFC North now, man, it's going to be tight up there. You know, I took an L to the Bears during our game on Sunday. So now I'm sitting at 3-2. He's sitting at 3-2. And I believe Butters is back at 3-2. So, you know, it's pretty much tight throughout our entire division, man. It's probably going to be that way the entire cycle. And even, man, just looking at the NFC South, man, you know, you have the Falcons pretty much sitting on top right now. But you got Matty Ice, man, after getting pretty much smacked during week 1 to the Vikings. He's figured something out, man. He's come back and he's doing his thing, man. And then got you as well, man. You play some tough defense, man, because I know our game, man, it was, what, 7-2?
Yeah, like 7-2, defensive game.
Yeah, so it was a defensive battle, man. So, like I say, man, just to win the NFC, just to win the title and make it to the Super Bowl, man, there's no cakewalk over here. So, and even if you're looking at the Cowboys, man, he still has to go face up against those Redskins, and he still has the Eagles with KP over there, who had his number in match 17. So that division is very competitive, you know, even though we're still pretty much early in the site in this season. So it should be interesting to see how everything shakes out as we get later into the season.
And number one thing that, you know, looking at the early playoff picture is what I notice is guys ain't losing key players. Like the injury, it's a lot of dumb injuries, but we all knew the injury bug was crazy in Madden 17. But I have not yet seen anybody post. I lost O.J. Howard, but I only lost him for 3 weeks, so that's not a big deal. But a bunch of guys have not lost any key pieces, and that's another thing heading on later on to the second half of the season. Will guys get hurt? Will guys lose a key player and gotta fit that spot? But NFC, man, is stacked. So if you in NFC, man, prepare yourself. It's gonna be a dogfight, because that 8-8 is not gonna cut it this year, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, I hate to put you on the spot, man, but as playing only 5 weeks, man, who would be your Super Bowl? Well, who would be representing the NFC in the Super Bowl as a prediction for you?
Of course I don't want to go against myself. I put myself up there, but it's tough. Me personally, if I had to pick one user besides myself, I would want to go with. I'm gonna have to say Farquaad and the Falcons. And the reason why I say this is because that offense. That offense is dangerous. You can't focus on one person. I watched a couple of his games. I'm not giving out no free chicken. But you can't focus in on one person. But that's also, I watched some of the Cowboys games. I watched some of the Vikings games. With them users that I just mentioned, you cannot zero in on one piece. You have to be ready and prepared to adjust multiple things. Now, and also all them 3 users that I just mentioned also knows how to play well on the defensive side of the ball. So it's you literally have to play a perfect game to beat those 3 users, and I mean perfect defense and offense. But if I had to pick besides myself, it would have to be the Falcons, because it's high expectation, man. If Atlanta don't hang a banner this Madden cycle, my oh my, that's all I'm gonna say, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hey, man, if he doesn't hang a banner this season, it's pretty much a wrap.
Man, it's either panic or it's either hold your water or panic. And Atlanta, it's gonna be some tough decisions coming this offseason. So you got the pieces to get it together now, man. I'm putting you there in the Super Bowl. So please don't let me down.
All right, man. This is our first episode of Move the Sticks. That's 365 Grind, man. And it's this 365 Grind, man, because we're gonna be coming hard and heavy throughout this entire cycle, man. We'll label the bad boys of the Dynasty, man. So we're gonna give it to you real, uncut, and raw. So I'm your host, Nasty Noob. I got Terra Dome with me, and we're out.
The Dynasty Madden League Network, the worldwide leader in CFM.